Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of HP Critical. I'm Jerel, and I'm joined by Brandon and two brand new writers to our website, Gabe and Dana. Gabe, why don't you tell the people hello and tell them a little bit about yourself?
Hey, everybody, it's Gabe. I'm a huge Zelda nerd.
Hell yeah.
I say that lightly, so don't come asking me for all these tips and tricks in the game because I suck at it.
Wow.
Yeah. I love Dark Souls. I like to play hard games. I like to challenge myself. Again, doesn't mean I'm good. I just try my hardest. So that's me.
And Dana, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Dana. You might know me from the website. I would like to do the segment on jams for the game and grind. I'm really big into music. I play with a couple bands, and I'm also really big into Zelda. I have a Triforce tattoo, so that's kind of me.
Can confirm he does have that tattoo. It's not a lie. Anyways,
you already know me, so I don't need to do any introduction. I've been doing this for a while.
Very true. Everybody knows the big guy, Brandon. So we're talking all about the PlayStation presentation that happened yesterday. I know that you guys, we watched it together, some of us. I know that I had some very strong feelings. I'm the PlayStation guy of the website, unlike some of these Nintendo nerds or Xbox fans. So I was super hyped for all the games that were announced. And of course, we couldn't not have a podcast on it. So first things first, I want to talk about all the games that were shown, because it was, an hour and a half almost of just game after game after game, which was, I think, exactly what PlayStation needed. So I want to talk about the games first. I want to talk about the overall presentation, what you guys felt about it, whether it went in the right direction, and then a little bit about Xbox and how their reveal compared to PlayStation's. And of course, we got to talk about the reveal of the design. So first things first, here is a list of everything that was shown during the PlayStation presentation. We had Spider-Man Miles Morales, which is coming out holiday 2020. Gran Turismo 7, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart. Square Enix has Project Athia. The Stray trailer was shown, releasing in 2021. There's a new exclusive for PS5, Returnal, I believe it was called.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's one.
Sackboy, A Big Adventure, Destruction All-Stars, Kena, Bridge of Spirits, Goodbye Volcano High, which comes out in 2021, Oddworld Soulstorm, Ghostwire Tokyo in 2021. So quick question. Ghostwire Tokyo, was that the one that was shown off? I think it was the one that was shown off last year at E3 at the Microsoft presentation.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
I was correct. Thank you. Then we also have Jet the Far Shore coming holiday 2020. Godfall coming holiday 2020. So excited for that one. Solar Ash releasing in 2021. Hitman 3, January 2021. Astro's Playroom. Little Devil Inside. NBA 2K21. Bug Snacks, which was adorable.
Yes.
Demon Souls. Deathloop. Resident Evil. 8 Village coming in 2021, Pragmata, and Horizon Forbidden West. So we had a crap ton of games, and the first thing I want to do is ask you guys, which were your favorites and which were your least favorites of the games that were shown off? Brandon, you first.
Yeah, so definitely the main standout to me, and the reason why I'm 100% getting a PS5 at launch, is Miles Morales, 100%. Marvel Spider-Man for the PS4, which came out in 2018. That was so close to being my game of the year for 2018. If it wasn't for the fact that Smash Brothers is my life, I would have absolutely picked Spider-Man as my game of the year. Like, it is not only the best superhero game I have ever played, it's one of the best open world games I've ever played. In fact, I even go as far as say that it's the best non-RPG open world I've played. Like, Spider-Man is fantastic. Everything of the storytelling, it did justice to the Spider-Man series. Like, I could go on. But suffice to say, I was excited for a Miles Morales follow-up because of how much they tease him in the first game. So Spider-Man Miles Morales, this being kind of like a standalone game featuring just him, I'm excited, not just because of the character, but I also love what Miles can do as a Spider-Man. Like, he has the Venom shot, which is that electric punch that he can do. He can do stealth. So I'm expecting some stealth missions too, or he can do some like stealth takedowns. Like, I just want to see more of this game. That is absolutely my favorite announcement for this. Like, 100% a reason for me to get a PS5 right away. I'm so shocked that it's coming out holiday 2020, but I'm just happy that exists.
So before you move on really quick, I do have a question
Sure.
for you, Brandon, because you
up?
just wrote the article. What exactly is going on with Spider-Man Miles Morales? Is it an expansion? Is it a full standalone game?
Yeah, so when I first saw it, I was under the assumption that it was just kind of like some sort of add-on or like a shorter game. It was obviously more of the shorter game, but I'll get into that in a second. And then a Sony rep had said it was just an expansion, which got people inflamed online. Apparently, that was a misconception. Insomniac Games went on to say that it is a standalone game. That being said, it seems to be not the same scale that the Marvel Spider-Man was. It's more along the lines of it's a shorter story, but it's definitely a standalone game. So if you were to take the regular Spider-Man game and give that like maybe 20, 30 hours you're actually completing it, this one might lean more into like 15 hours to 20 hours, depending if you're trying to complete it. So I don't think it'll be a full price game when it comes out, or at least I'm not expecting it to be. But that's the point. It is a standalone game, cheaper one. And I made the comparison in my article that I had wrote about it earlier today, that it very much feels like a combination of The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask and Uncharted The Lost Legacy, because I feel like they're going to be using a lot of assets from the first game. I don't think they're going to like any new locations as far as New York City, so they can use up a lot of that stuff again. And as far as Uncharted The Lost Legacy, that was a follow-up to 4. That wasn't necessarily DLC. It was just more like a standalone game. That was smaller in scale. So that's pretty much what I'm expecting of it. It is a standalone game. It is not an expansion. It's not an add-on. It's its own thing.
Awesome. And was there any that you just weren't really impressed by?
There was nothing. There was a lot of games there that were being shown that I just didn't. I won't say there's anything that I was like ill, but like there's no ills like in this announcement. That's a sign of a good.
That's amazing.
That's. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that just didn't like grab my attention same way that Spider-Man did. Mm-hmm. Like pretty much everything that was at the tail end of the announcement from Demon Souls onwards was at least interesting to me. I mean, I guess the only one I would say that just didn't interest me was NBA 2K21 because I love basketball, but I'm just not into sports games.
But like realistic 2K21 looks so good.
It looks great. They always look great, but it's just not for me. It's just not me. So if I had to pick one that I just don't care about, I guess it's that one. That trailer looked hyped, though.
Well, you don't have to pick one you don't care about. I really just wanted to know if there was anything that you were just like, this doesn't look great for like a title coming to PS5 in comparison. But
oh well, that's the question. Then yeah, no, nothing. Everything. Awesome. Even if I'm not personally interested, everything looks great for PS5 so far. At least as far as this trailer was.
So I know that you mentioned Dark Souls. You said Dark Souls, right? That's the name of that game?
Demon Souls.
Oh, Demon Souls. Thank you. Oh my gosh, look at me. I'm so embarrassing.
Put some respect on the Souls names.
And I'm so happy that you just said that because he mentioned Demon Souls. Gabe was in chat going wild with the reveal of Demon Souls. So I want to ask Gabe, you next. What was your big standout presentation from the PlayStation presentation for the PS5?
To put a little background on what you just said about going wild in the chat for Demon Souls, I was watching the trailer, and I think within the first 10 seconds, I already knew what the game was, because you have the very first shot was this beautiful mountain range, and then it changes to an icy mountain range, and then all of a sudden there's a guy hanging upside down on your screen. I'm like, there's only one type of game that I've played before that gives you a beautiful scenery and then throws in a dead body hanging upside down.
So I
immediately knew it was a Souls game. And then as the trailer progressed and they showed the different armor sets of the characters, I'm like, this is definitely another Souls game. Mm-hmm. So I was really impressed. I was really surprised to see that it was a Demon Souls remake. So for me, it was actually 2 games that got me really excited for the PS5. The first one obviously being Demon Souls, but then the second one was Godfall. The Godfall was introduced, I think, earlier this year.
Yes, at the Game Awards.
And we didn't really get a clear trailer on it. Like, it gave us a little bit, but I was like, I'm not bought on the game yet. But then I saw the trailer for this one, and
bro, I'm super
absolutely
hyped
amazing.
For Godfall. Like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, like I'm glad they brought like the medieval type aesthetic into the PS5 immediately. So that's gonna be fun.
And I know that people have had issues with Gearbox, but I love their writing and I love their stuff on Borderlands. I love the loot shooters. So this action looter. I forgot what they titled it.
Schlooter.
Is that really what they call it? I feel like they call it.
I've heard some people call it that.
That's an ugly name.
I don't know if that's
I don't like that one.
Looter.
We should definitely go with something else. But this action looter, I'm super, super excited for. So I'm so happy you brought it up. That I was watching it again, the presentation before this recording, and I was like, oh man, this looks really good. But I'm sorry to cut you off. Continue.
So those 2 games caught my attention. There was also 2 games that I didn't care for. The first one being NBA 2K, and look, it's
Bruh, what is all the NBA hate?
here's the thing.
All is
The
life.
only
I just don't
reason-
care about the games.
No, that's not it for me because I love basketball. And, if I had the chance, I'd play the game. But my problem with 2K is every year they come out with a new game, and every year it's the same crap. All they do is enhance the graphics, but the actual gameplay still sucks.
First of all,
Here we go.
NBA 2K20. No, I'm not even, okay. NBA 2K20 does not have shitty gameplay, number one. Number two, I don't think there's anything wrong with upgrading your graphics for the next generation of the game. Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I don't think it's broke. And am I impressed by graphics more so than anything else? Probably. Should I probably care more about gameplay? Sure. But who gives a shit? Because it looks beautiful. And that's all I have to say on that. Go play NBA 2K21. I'm not going to play it though, so it's fine. I just did all that. I'm not even going to play it.
Oh my god.
But I know people who will.
Yeah,
so.
The other game that I wasn't too sold on was Bug Snacks.
Oh my god.
It looked before I get
not
attacked,
me either.
before I get
Me neither,
attacked,
actually.
Before I get attacked, the game looks cute. I like the whole cloudy with a chance of meatballs, like living animal thing, but it just looked kind of dumb.
Oh, wow.
And like, I was watching it and I'm like, okay, PlayStation, this better not be the last game you show because this was a horrible way to end it. You can't start off with Spider-Man and then give me talking, what was it, otters? What were they, seals?
Bruh, I don't know what she was. I literally don't know what she was.
But yeah, I'm guessing the Bug Snacks game is geared more towards the kids, so the kids can ask their parents for a PS5. But I'm looking right here, and it says that Bug Snacks is also coming to PS4. So
great.
I don't know what angle they were going on with that.
First of all, why you gotta hate on Bug Snacks, okay? I didn't like it either. I was like, ill, bugs. But also, I'm sorry, Dana. But also, I was like, oh, this is actually really cute. I love the ending. It made me laugh. I thought it was adorable. And I literally had someone message me as the presentation was going, and they were like, I want Bug Snacks. And I was like, you will be the only person buying it. But it's for someone. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that person that messaged you.
Okay. Did you have anything else to add?
You set yourself up for that one. I had to just take it.
I did. I continue to set myself up, apparently. Did you have anything else before we move on, Gabe?
No, besides that, everything was fantastic. It was a really well put presentation.
Dana, please tell me, what did you think of the games that were presented?
Yeah, let me talk to you about Bug Snacks.
Oh my gosh, here we go.
Please.
Yo,
Bug
let's pull
Snacks.
opposite. I'm here for it. Let's go.
All right. So first of all, I saw it and I didn't even see the little strawberry at first because I was kind of doing something else. But I saw the bear otter thing and I was like, oh, he's cute.
Yeah.
Picked it up, the strawberry, and then he's like, yeah, look at this thing. It's amazing. It's a half bug, half thing. And he just eats it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm in. And then they started showing that you are what you eat kind of like deal. And I was kind of sold.
Yeah, I think that was pretty cool.
And so I imagine that it's going to be like a 3D puzzle games where you have to solve different things using your environment and the bug snacks that are around you. And I'm kind of here for it. And I feel from the last couple of seconds of the trailer where they showed like the monstrosity of just random snacks thrown together that they are going to be fighting back because they don't want to be eaten.
I'm so excited. You just made me excited. Thank you.
Yeah,
You've
I'm
done your
so
job.
Excited for this. The other one I'm looking forward to is Oddworld. So Oddworld, I played originally on the PlayStation, but I'm glad that they're bringing it forward with the 5 now because this one looks great. Of course, they have a lot more they can do with the 5 graphics-wise. And I don't know, there's something about him cutting like the stitches or the lace that was holding his mouth shut.
Yes.
That really put me on edge, and I'm kind of here for it.
It's so funny because when I was watching that, I was like, these things look so damn familiar, but I couldn't remember what it was. And then, of course, it was Oddworld. So, tell me a little bit about it because I've actually never played it. I just have one question. In Oddworld, do they just follow you around and then you have to like lead them and then they all get destroyed?
Uh, Now it's been a long time,
Okay.
but I'm pretty sure that that's part of the game mechanics. Is that you're
figured.
supposed to be like leading your people
Yeah.
out.
And I just saw a bunch of them dying and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, the resistance is brutal.
I was actually, Gabe and I were actually talking about it, about how we're just going to let them all die because, like, what is that?
Yeah, like I'm looking at the trailer and
That's a big yikes.
every 2 seconds there's a group of them dying. I'm like, what is
Yeah.
this? What's
Mass
happening?
murder.
It was crazy.
Yeah, it was. Oof.
Like,
I
the trailer
said it on
was
chat,
long.
but it looks like a better Hey Pikmin than Hey. I'm sorry, a better Pikmin than Hey Pikmin.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. Did you have any other games that you wanted to talk about?
Sackboy.
Oh,
Sackboy does look pretty cool.
I love where this is going. I feel like this is going to be the 3D platformer that really defines Sony's like platforming. I think that's just going to be a great step forward for the Little Big Planet as like a series, and it's just so cute, and I love it.
You know, the reason that I asked that is because when Brandon brought up Hey Pikmin, I had been seeing in multiple places that everyone was saying that PlayStation is presenting us with the platformers for next gen that Nintendo is not. And that was
Yeah.
including Sackboy and Ratchet and Clank and the Astrobot. I'm sorry, Astro's Playroom. A lot of people were impressed with those, so I'm very excited to see where platformers go on the PS5. Nice
I'm glad that
segue
platformers are coming back.
for myself. Pat on the back. Anyway, so the game that I was most interested in was actually Kena Bridge of Spirits because it was adorable,
Ooh,
it was
yes.
gorgeous. Literally everything about that trailer was calling my name. And of
It
course,
was so gorgeous.
I have to give a shout out to Spider-Man Miles Morales because I'm all here for representation in video games. So, after the success of Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and seeing Miles in the original Spider-Man, of course they had to bring him over because I was one of those people that was complaining that, okay, great, now we get another Spider-Man game with the same old Peter Parker. So it's really, really cool to see Miles Morales starring as the starring role of the next Spider-Man game. Super, super excited for that. A lot of these games are really scary. So a lot of them I was like, not for me, move along. Including Ghostwire Tokyo, I was interested in it, but then I was like, no, this is going to scare the shit out of me. But also Project Athia from Square Enix using that Luminous engine. Very, very excited for it. I know a lot of people have been talking about how it kind of looks like FF15 in some parts. Not sure if it's going to be the same team that's working on it, but of course I'm here for adventuring female protagonists. Obviously I'm just all about representation. I'm here for the black guy and the female protagonist. But yeah, Godfall is another one that was really, really good. I am super, super stoked. The game that I recognized, and because I know Gabe did mention the game that he recognized immediately, the game that I recognized almost immediately was surprisingly Resident Evil 8, and that is only because I'm very scared of Resident Evil 7. I did not finish that game. I literally got into the house after they, spoiler alert, after they like saw your arm off and you are like tied down in the kitchen. That's like an hour into this game. It's literally nowhere. But I got that far and I was like, I'm not playing this shit. This is scary as fuck. So I turned it off, but I did recognize that same engine almost. I think it is the same engine being used for Resident Evil 8 and Resident Evil 7. And so when they show the old guy in the beginning of the trailer, I was like, oh, I feel like I know what this is, but I don't want it to be that. And I was right, and that's what it is. That's what it was. And I was like, this should just get scarier and scarier. I did think it was interesting because we're moving so far away from the quintessential Resident Evil with, zombies and stuff. So we'll see where that goes. Anyway, next up, I do want to talk about the presentation. So I think that Sony did a really good job, but how do you guys feel they did with this? Starting with Brandon, once again, just in case you got to slip out of here. How do you think they did?
Yeah, no, I feel like it was a very strong presentation. I think my only complaint about it was kind of where I guess there's two. One. They're both kind of minor, I suppose. The first one, we didn't mention it, but the GTA 5 thing. So let me just put this out. I love GTA 5. I finished that game back when it was on PS3. I even copped the PS4 version because I liked it that much. And I do think it's pretty neat that PS4 owners will get all that stuff, and then if you get it for PS5, you get the online for free. That's all needed. That's all needed. Whatever. It's still a game that people have had access to for like 7 years. To start off the presentation with it, I think was kind of a weak choice. That might have been something they wanted to slip in maybe later. I don't know. But then they were just doing new announcements, so maybe they just wanted to get that out of the way so the presentation flowed better. I don't know. It was just kind of weird to me. And then there's the fact that we'll talk more about the system itself, I'm sure, later. But the fact that, we didn't get, like, release date I kind of didn't expect we did, but price, I would have kind of wanted to know that, but whatever. But aside from those two knocks, I think it was a great presentation. Like, it was just game announcement after game announcement. Like, this is how you want to get people excited for your new system or just your company in general. Mm-hmm. Like, even if this wasn't a PlayStation 5, to show, hey, here's a new system. Even if this was just like a regular Sony conference, like, say, 2 years down the road, you want something like this where you just have a whole bunch of games in the pipeline to get people excited for your box, to show what's coming up, what's coming out, and all that good stuff. So, very solid presentation. And they had something for everyone. They had shooters, they had platformers, they had horror games. They brought back Ratchet and Clank. Like, that's been gone for like forever. I know a lot of people were into that. They had the Miles Morales. They knew people love Spider-Man, and they knew that people love Miles Morales. So they started with that pretty much. They had Horizon Zero Dawn 2, which is Horizon Forbidden Wilds. What's it called?
Forbidden West.
Forbidden West. Thank you. Yes. So yes, a sequel to that, which was one of their most critically acclaimed games in the PS4. Like, it was something for everyone, and they just kept coming one after another. Some of them even had gameplay to show for however long they could spare. That's great. There's like 26 games there, and some of them got a little extra time than others. Perfect. Like, yeah, great presentation. Aside from those two little knocks, I think it was a great presentation. That's my take on it.
All right, I'm gonna go next because I have issue with your knocks. Only because, first of all, if you put GTA anywhere else in that presentation, it's only going to interrupt the hype.
Yeah, like, I made that point too as I said that.
Yeah,
like,
you did.
I guess it had to be. So on that point, I guess it had to be at the beginning. It was just a weird way to start. But I guess there was only one place they could put it.
I don't think so, because they started with the look back from 1999 up until 2020, and it's like, okay, this is the evolution. So I think it kind of fit in. But that's just my little humble opinion. Also, they're not going to show a price because Xbox hasn't shown a price.
I know, it's a Cold War. It's always a Cold War with these consoles.
We're doing this, so I wasn't really expecting one just because I knew Xbox didn't have one. Although they did worry me because it took them so long to show the console. I remember halfway through I was like, all right, show me the damn thing already. But I think this presentation was done perfectly. I mentioned in chat that I really think that they found their footing. PlayStation, because I know that sometimes when they have their state of plays, they can be a little iffy. But as you mentioned, they had some type of genre for every player presented. They had a bunch of first-party titles. Not everything had dates, but a lot of what they were giving us was in either the 2020 for launch or coming the first year of the console, which is 2021. It's obviously going to be a few months after the console's released. So I like that they somewhat did what Nintendo does, which is give us a little bit of a at least idea of when some of this stuff is going to come out. Of course, not everything had it, but it's really great to see what's on the horizon. Can I talk about graphics, please?
Please.
Everything was beautiful. I cried a little bit. I literally teared up. Speaking of Ratchet and Clank, pre-alpha, they showed pre-alpha footage that looked like a complete game. Pre-alpha stage footage that looked like a complete game. I am still mesmerized by that fact. Project Athia is gorgeous. Like, just oh my gosh. Demon Souls. I remember saying, I don't know what this is, but I want it. I don't even know what this game is. I want it. And all of it is captured in, native PS5 footage. Like, all of it's PS5, captured on a PS5. That is what next gen is about. And I always complain and I say, you know, the best way to do an E3 presentation is give us the games and give us information. And PlayStation gave us over an hour of games. I was not expecting over an hour of games. I was thinking like maybe 30 minutes, 15 minutes of games and then 15 minutes of info on or not even, like 45 minutes of games maybe. And then, you know, the rest of the time on console information. But they just didn't stop. They were like, this is why you need a PS5. And I think they did a great job at convincing a lot of people by the end of that presentation that you need to go buy one of these shits as soon as they come out. Obviously not everybody. But I like after like halfway through, I was like, no, yeah, I'm getting one of these. I don't even care what it looks like. Before the reveal, I was like, I don't even care what it looks like. And by the end, I was like, you know what? I like it. I'm down for it. Also, very subtle things that they did that really, I think, helped. I know Gabe talked about the camera work a little bit during the interviews. I thought that was done really well. I thought the transitions were done really well. I thought they broke it up really well. The pacing was done really well. One of my favorite things that they did was they snuck the home screen of the PS5 into the presentation.
That was dope.
That was
super dope.
So cool. I was like, oh my god, I love it. This is what the startup screen's going to look like. It looked freaking amazing. I know that Gabe said that he touched his screen. And I was like, you know what? Like, it was so good. I don't blame you. Like, that to me is like, that's that extra level of touch and detail that's not necessarily in every presentation. You know, and I'm going to do a little bit of an Xbox comparison right now because Xbox didn't do anything like that. You know, they showed us the box. I'm not an Xbox hater, but Xbox showed us the box. PlayStation went all in, gave us an hour worth of titles. They did, you know, the nuances, look, here's the preview of the PS5 start screen, which I fucking love. Here are the games that are gorgeous no matter, you know, which genre you're into. These things look so good that I'm reevaluating why my Switch looks so bad. Like, I know. Anyway, whatever. I'm not even going to go into that conversation. The point is, there was something for everyone. I cannot think of a more perfect presentation. And at this point, I'm like, I don't even care if you guys don't do an E3 anymore. Give me one of these, and I'm happy. Anyway, which one of you wants to go next after all my talking? Dana or Gabe?
I can step up next.
All right, please, let me know.
All right. I think that GTA 5 was a great way to start it off because that is one of the best-selling games of like all time.
Of all time, yeah.
Of all time,
I'm still disappointed though that it wasn't GTA 6.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are going to be hurt by that.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people, when they upgrade their consoles, they get rid of the old one. You know what I mean?
Very true.
So a lot of people are going to want something that's familiar, and they're going to want something that they can immediately know that they want for their next generation. And so I think that was a great way to start because it's like, hey, here's something you know, now here's a bunch you don't.
Yeah, and to that point, a lot of times people are resistant about buying new consoles because sometimes console launches can be really shitty because you don't have any good games to play for like the first 6 months to a year. And immediately you can jump, like you said, you can immediately jump back into GTA 5. So props.
Moving forward, I thought it was really great that every time I looked over at the screen, I saw a lot of diversity in the characters, protagonists, and antagonists. I saw a lot of really strong female antagonists as well as protagonists, including in Ratchet and Clank.
Yes, I want to meet her.
She was hella cute. And then what was it in Deathloop? Where it was about the
assassins killing each other?
Yeah, assassins killing each other in a time loop. And then he was talking about how there was the antagonist who was giving him a lot of trouble. And I was there for it.
Same.
You know what I mean?
Same.
So that's really big. Another really strong antagonist is making a return with Horizon. And so, yeah, I was really glad to see a lot of that because if you look outside, what do you see? You see diversity. So it's just really nice to see that they're going to translate that into games as well.
Mm-hmm. Completely agree.
I liked that when I looked over as well, it wasn't all the same. So it wasn't just like a beautiful, hyper-realistic every time. There was stuff that was real goofy. There's stuff that was like somewhere in the middle, like Ratchet and Clank. But it made it really stand out to me. Goodbye Volcano High.
Mm-hmm.
And that one looked really good. And I'm really glad that they put it right in between Kenna,
Mm-hmm.
and Oddworld. Because I felt like it was a stark difference, and so it was really eye-grabbing. And I think that they did a great job putting it all together. I think that the pacing was really nice as well. So it wasn't ever a time where I was like, all right, I'm done hearing about this game, from this person. Let's see the next one. Or, all right, well, I've been here for 30 minutes. What's the next game or something? Very good pacing. Everything I wanted more, but I'm glad I didn't get it.
Yeah, I completely agree that the way that they paced it and the way that they placed the games definitely added to the hype, because you really never knew what was next. Like, you don't want to pull your eyes away from the screen, because even if you're not interested in what you're seeing at the moment, I'm sure there's going to be something coming up that you're going to like, or at least it's going to be different enough that you might be interested in it. So I completely agree with everything you said. Oh my gosh, let's praise PlayStation more. Gabe, what about you?
Yeah, I love the presentation. I think it started off well. The very beginning. This is just me being nitpicky, but the very beginning, like right before they started with their timeline, I felt like it took too long. Like, I didn't need to see this massive white cube just dissolve into your X, circle, triangle, and square. Like, oh, sorry, not X, the cross, since they touched on that earlier this year. I didn't need to see that part of the presentation. Like, I felt like, okay, everybody knows this is the PlayStation presentation. You can skip over this first, 20, 30 seconds of showing me shapes.
Gabe,
but
those buttons are iconic.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. And then yeah, like you said earlier, I touched on the camera. Apparently there was some talk earlier today that
Bruh, what do you think?
The actual humans
were CGI.
I strongly believe that they were not CGI.
Okay,
because you have to remember, Sony, like, PlayStation belongs to Sony, and Sony is really good at making cameras.
Yep.
So it's very, very plausible that they use their own equipment to just sit there and give you that hyper definition, detailing on all these people that were talking. It felt really real to me. So, and again, I thought the pacing, like everyone's been saying, the pacing was really great. Like, it was literally game after game after game. I really thought, because, I think it was last year when Sony did their thing, it was kind of, they didn't know what they were trying to do. Like, they kept giving you different pacings, and then sometimes the little aesthetic or theme they had on the screen or whatever didn't really match the game they're about to talk about. So I like that this was just game, and then every now and then the developers would talk. They'd say a short, at most 30-second thing, and then let the games do the talking, let the gameplay do the talking. And then I really like how at the end, everyone thought it was done, and then they start kind of rolling back their little blue and black bubbles, and then here's the system, here's your Wi-Fi router.
Yeah.
Man, I keep poking fun at the design of the PS5, but I actually really love it. It looks really sleek.
I do as well.
It looks really beautiful. If Darth Vader ever needs an extra stormtrooper, he can contact Sony. Okay, I'm done taking jabs at the design. But it was really nice. It was really cool. I'm kind of bothered that they didn't give you a price, because like Xbox didn't do it, but if you're going to introduce the regular PS5 version and then give us the digital version, there needs to be a price. Like, that needs to come with it, because people need to see which one they're going to want more. But besides that, beautiful presentation. Absolutely loved it. And like, I hate to say this, but presentations like this, they kind of paint E3 as obsolete, because if Nintendo's been doing it for a while, Nintendo's been doing their own directs during E3, and now Sony comes on with this presentation. It's kind of like, do we really need E3 at this point? Does E3 need to be as big as it is, or do we just let these companies start planning everything,
And saving
months,
a
maybe
shit
even
ton of
years
money.
ahead. Yeah, that too, because I feel like you're able to do more when you do things by yourself. If you're in your own, studio building, you're using your own equipment and all that, like you're not limited to whatever E3 has to offer.
Can I jump on that real quick? Because I
Yes, you
actually,
can.
because I actually agree. This presentation that Sony did for the PlayStation 5 felt significantly stronger than some of their E3 press conferences. And I've even ventured to say, like, a lot of them is stronger than a lot of them. And it's the same thing for Nintendo, since you mentioned it. Ever since Nintendo has started going digital, since I want to say 2013, there's some that's definitely been weaker than some of their best E3 press conferences. But then that same token, there's been some of their Nintendo Directs that have been stronger than a lot of their E3 press conferences. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like stuff like this, almost a full hour and a half of just dedicated time to themselves, cutting to all these videos of gameplay and stuff like that. It really does paint a picture of whether or not E3 can, E3. We mentioned we had a podcast about E3 of whether it's going to stay around and whatnot, and I think it will, but it really is just going to keep getting less and less important, especially after stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, and I love the ability to just, focus on these developers for, a minute and just let them talk about their stuff and then move
Yeah,
on to
I like that
gameplay,
too.
which is, I think, much better than this random guy coming on a stage to talk to you for 5 minutes when you
want to
just
hear
want
from
to see
you guys.
gameplay.
Yeah.
I think it's a much better, more personal way, those little messages from devs than a stage screen and us sitting in the audience waiting to see what happens. But that being said, let's talk a little bit about the design that was revealed. I will say that I do think they took a long time to show us what it was going to look like, and I wasn't sure they were going to do it. But we now know what the PlayStation 5 looks like, and also to touch on a little bit of what you said, Gabe, as well, I personally am not too big on worrying about the price because you're going to know whether you want a slim or a digital only or a physical based on, just how you're going to purchase games. Either you're going to want to do them physically or you're going to want to do them digital. So it's not too big of a deal for me, but I completely get where you're coming from. Some people might want to see that price difference. We're just going to, of course, assume that the digital only version is going to be cheaper. But I don't think it's too big of a deal. For me, personally, I'm sure for other people they want to know, but my boyfriend's buying my PlayStation 5, so YOLO. Anyway, let's talk about the design. What did you guys think, Brandon? How you feeling about it?
I think it's nice and sleek. Like, I love the memes. I love the memes that are coming out. But even subtracting those, I think it's just a cool design. It feels futuristic. One meme I will mention right now is the one where it's like the PS5 is going to look so out of place in the house with like only like the chair and the TV. Like that one I adore because it's so true. This really feels like it's a futuristic console. In like a regular household is just going to look so off. But that all that aside, it's like a really good looking console. Both designs look really good, both the standard and the digital only version. I will say though, the digital one, like with its perfect symmetry, feels like that's made to be stood up. Whereas the one with the disc drive, I feel obviously I'm gonna get the regular one that's not digital only because I need my disc, especially if they had like special editions for like certain games. But that one will also feel a lot better to go sideways, which with my current entertainment set that I have in my room, it would fit better if I had a sideways version of it. So I'm glad that you can do that as an option and that with the disc version looks good. If I had to get the digital only version, I don't think that would look good sideways. That's a personal thing, but like it's just a little thought that I had. But that aside, console looks great. I think it looks really slick.
Yeah, so obviously, I pointed fun at the design earlier, but it's like Brandon said, it looks very futuristic. This is what I thought the PS4, should look like. It looks like it's not out of this world, but it looks like, like when you see those movies that talk about the future, like for example, I don't know if you guys have seen it, the Disney movie Meet the Robinsons.
Yeah.
When he goes into the future, hold on.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna yell at you about that later.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah, like the PS5 kind of reminds me of when Lewis gets into the future. That's what it looks like to me. I'm not a big fan of it being on its side, mainly because the PS symbol is standing directly up. But again, that's a whole preference thing. And then also, I think because a lot of people were very shocked at the fact that it was more white than it was black, unlike the PS4. I think that's a good color scheme because the way that's designed right now, any color controller can actually, match that system. And like, I know it's a really small thing to like be nitpicky about, but like right now I'm looking at my PS4. I have one of the all black PS4s, but I have one black, totally black controller. But then the white controller that I have doesn't fit the aesthetic. Like, I don't know. I kind of look at it and I want to throw it away, but I'm not going to do that because I need an extra controller. So I think the color choices were really good.
Yes, please don't start your controller
Yeah,
away.
yeah, and yeah. So I think it's really good. And at the same thing, I'm looking at a picture right now, and the black inside the white accents the blue light, the blue power light
Yes.
from the inside. So I think it's really nice.
Mhm.
Really beautiful. And again, you got to keep it away from your parents so they don't confuse it with a house Wi-Fi router. But absolutely gorgeous.
Dana, what about you?
All right, so I don't know. I'm not a fan of the design. And I'm gonna say that it looks like it's living in the year 3000 while we're back here in 2020. It does look super futuristic, and I think it's cool.
You mean 3000, like the Attack of Blue Eyes White Dragon, because it looks like Seto Kaiba?
Oh my god!
These are the reaches I do. I'm here all night, folks. Continue.
We're doing it again. Brandon and I can't be together. Anyways, I do think it looks really sleek. I think it looks great. I like how the vents for the heat to escape is nice. It doesn't stick out anywhere. But I'm going to compare it to the Xbox, the new one that's coming out. I think that one looks greater. I just don't like the way that it's got the points to it, and I think that the more conservative design of the Xbox is more appealing to me.
Whew, my turn. So I really loved the tower design for the Xbox. I had always been talking about how I really loved the tower design. I thought it was really cool. I was so happy that it wasn't just like this, flat rectangle. I like computer towers already. I love that you have, the green accent on the top, etc. And then I saw the PlayStation 5, and I was like, well, now this shit just looks like a black box, and it's boring as fuck. And I'm so excited for the PlayStation 5 aesthetic. I mean, did you guys see that lineup of black and white? You've got your media controller, your controllers with your charging station, your headphones, the camera. Like, everything is so cohesive. That is something that you want to have on display. I really, really, it really made me change my mind on the Xbox because I loved the Xbox design, and I was like, oh my god, I would put all my PS5 stuff on display at the top, and I'd probably throw that rectangle on the bottom somewhere underneath so that it wouldn't destroy this beautiful black and white aesthetic that I have. And I know a lot of people were like, oh, I don't like the white, like what Gabe had mentioned, but I think if you had that in all black, it wouldn't have the same impact. Like, imagine walking into someone's house and just seeing all that shit set up. That's like, your shit's sleek as fuck. I want to be here. Like, I know that it's like an upper echelon type thing. It's beautiful. I love it. I love the headphones. It does look like a Wi-Fi router. I won't lie. I admit that, but it's the coolest looking Wi-Fi router I have ever seen. And like Gabe mentioned, I think that those blue accents coming out are really, really, that extra touch of and the vents, like everything. Just I think it looks like a console, which I'm very happy about. And now I think the Xbox does not look like a console. I think it looks like a rectangular box in comparison. I don't think the Switch looks like a good console. It's, just this black thing sitting up there unless
Toaster.
you get exactly. It's a black toaster unless you get a special edition. And I think that Sony is, a PlayStation is really paving the way for design in these things. We hadn't seen anything. We saw the controller. Some people freaked out about the controller. It's definitely more towards the, Pro Controller, Xbox controller side now than it is the PlayStation 4 DualShock. But man, y'all, I want like two of them. I want both of them. I want the I want the digital only version and I want the disc version just next to each other just to complete the set because I just think it looks that good. I love it. Anyway, the last thing I want to talk about is do a little bit of comparison between the Xbox Series X reveal and the PlayStation 5 reveal and just talk about how you guys feel about both of those and where you think the companies can go from here. And as we might remember, the Xbox Series X was announced in the middle, I think, of the Game Awards. It was not at the beginning. Yeah. It was definitely not at the end. It was somewhere in the middle of the Game Awards. There was this, I'm going to try to describe it as impartially as I can. I don't want to weigh in on my thoughts on Xbox, but it was presented in the middle of the Game Awards as this big surprise. I thought it was done pretty cool. Whatever. Anyway, we saw the Xbox Series X in the middle of the Game Awards presentation, and then I think they showed us like previews of what might be a few games that are coming. I think we saw 2 games that were officially coming to the Xbox Series X. I don't actually remember now because it was so long ago, but how do you guys think that those compare, and what do you think that each company has to do now to sell people on their games if they haven't already? Brandon, you first.
Yeah, so I will admit that them having the Xbox Series X reveal in Game Awards was a very neat surprise at the time. I thought it was pretty cool. It was interesting how the Series X reveal back at the Game Awards for 5 minutes turned into an E3 for Xbox. Like, they even had him on the stage, like, talking about it as if, like, I felt like I was at E3 for a second watching this. Like, is this happening right now? But in retrospect, I don't know if it was a good idea to do that there, only because, yeah, they got out there early. Since then they've been getting all this information out about it since its initial reveal. But they revealed it at a time where they didn't really have the spotlight. And when all the other stuff of the Game Awards came on, people had already stopped talking about 30 minutes later because they were talking about all the other stuff that was happening at the Game Awards. It was honestly really a lot of game journalists were talking about, of course, but that was more or less it.
Yeah.
And, a few games have been announced since then. The exclusives look good. The systems that are going to be running it look good. But I really think it was against them to reveal it in a time where it really wasn't all about them to begin with. Whereas this is going to be fresh in people's mind for a solid week at the very least, because they had all the time to themselves. They had all these games. They had all these games that they announced. Again, had something for everyone. So there's at least 1 or 2 reveals that this one person that was really excited about the PS5 is going to keep talking about for the week. And Xbox didn't have that. Like I said, it was about 30 minutes in. Then the Game Awards kept giving us more and more news. So that ended up becoming old news in 30 minutes. This, like I said, week. People are going to talk about this for like about that long. And that's what you want. You want people to have these consoles in mind for as long as possible. So I just feel like Xbox could have just revealed it at a better time. As cool as it was for it to be at the Game Awards, it just probably was also the wrong time. And that's my main takeaway from it as far as we're comparing reveals. Obviously, the Xbox Series X is a very powerful console, but it's has the same problem the previous Xbox system seems to be having. It doesn't really have that many exclusives, and that's where I think the PlayStation this generation is still going to have a strong lead against its competitor.
So one quick question. What would Xbox have to do to sell you on buying a Series X?
Become a PS5.
Oh my God.
What?
He said become a PS5. Oh my God.
Oh man. That's great. I love that. No, for me it would need to have some kind of, because here's the thing. For me personally, I don't really PC game because I don't personally want to bother with all the constant upgrades you would have to do. I'm a console person. So for me, Xbox Series X, to sell me on it would need some kind of exclusive killer app that is not available anywhere else, because if I was to already have one, I feel like there's a lot of games I would be getting for the Series X because it is the more powerful console. It's if we're talking about the multi-platform third parties, no brainer. Of course, you get it on the most powerful console you have. But for me to go out of my way to spend all the money to get one and to begin with, I need something on it that I can't play anywhere else. I own a Xbox One S Auditional Edition. Main reason I got that was because, one, it was cheap. It was only $150 to get that, which is dirt cheap for a console. 2, it was the only way to play Rear Replay, which I've wanted to play for almost 7 years now. And 3, it has the Games Pass feature, which admittedly is a very good deal. You get access to all these games for a very relatively low cost, and that's a good deal on its own. That's why I got it. Series X would need to do something similar to that for me, and also have an exclusive for me to get one, or go at a much lower price rate. But that's obviously not happening anytime soon. So that's what it would need for me to get one.
And of course, Xbox did mention that they're doing the upgrade system for anything you buy now that you can upgrade into the Xbox Series X, but also that their first-party titles will be playable on the Xbox One. So if you're looking for first-party title exclusives, I mean, you don't really need to upgrade immediately, whereas PlayStation was like, nah, fuck y'all gotta buy our shit if you want to play it.
Big facts. And that's definitely a great deal for those who already own the Xbox One games, because then they have a big incentive to already upgrade. If they had already been sold on the Xbox One, except for people like me who went cheap and got the digital edition, if you got like just regular Xbox One just because you liked Xbox or it did something for you personally, you're already in the market to get a Series X, I feel, because you just want to play on a console, the powerful games with whatever Xbox exclusive are available on your Game Pass, whatever your reasons. If you already have an Xbox One, chances are you're probably already going to get a Series X. If not immediately, then a little bit later. But that's just not me, because I didn't buy Xbox for any of those reasons. I just bought it because it was cheap, pretty much.
Okay, cool. Gabe, same question.
Well, it's a good thing I come before Dana, because I'm just going to completely shit on Xbox.
Wow.
I've never been an Xbox player. I have played on an Xbox before anybody tries and come for me for that. I just don't like the way Xbox operate. What they're gonna have to do, I'm sorry, what was the question again?
comparing the reveals to PS5.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
What it'll take you to buy one, I guess?
Yes.
Yeah. The Xbox reveals suck. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Wow.
I don't. I understand that it was at a Game Awards show, and that's beautiful and all. But again, it's like Brandon mentioned. Like, it was revealed, people went crazy about it for like 5 minutes, and then the Game Awards kept going, and it was like, oh, well, that's right, Xbox just came out with a new modem.
Facts. And I mean, also, let's not forget that everyone was not waiting for an Xbox reveal. That E3 was all about the next Smash character. So even after Xbox, everybody went straight back to, okay, when's Smash coming? Okay, when's the next Smash reveal? And that also, I think, was a detriment to Xbox's reveal as well. Especially because after the Game Awards was over, it was much less talk of, the Xbox Series X, and more of, oh shit, where's our character that we didn't get? So I think that also was against them as well. But sorry, continue.
Yeah. Talking about Smash, even though I know this is a PS5 podcast right now, it's been 2 whole years since Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has been announced. Just throwing that out there. June 12th, 2019. I mean 18. But yeah, the reveal for Xbox it lacked so much for me. The PS5 came in and it was just game after game, like we've been mentioning. The PS5, the Xbox, I think they came in with Halo Infinite and I think Scorn or something. I don't remember what the other game was. And it was like, I looked at it and I was like, I'm not feeling anything. Like, if SpongeBob was next to me asking me, do you feel it, Mr. Krabs? My answer would be no. I just wasn't feeling it. It was just, it didn't hit me the same. And I sat there and I was just like, did they really try and throw this in the middle of a Game Award and expect it to hit off? So, and at the same time, I also feel like it kind of took away from their E3. Although, because at that time, we were all under the assumption that we were going to get an E3.
Yes.
But yeah, now when they come in to do their little segment for whatever they're doing for the summer, it's going to kind of lack, because we already know what the Xbox is. We already know, its specs and all that stuff. It's just, I don't feel like they have anything else to offer.
Yeah, and if we don't get first-party titles from them, I mean, we've already seen a lot of the games that are going to be between both at the at the PlayStation 5 reveal.
Yeah, and another thing is, there's been reports that the Xbox, the Series X especially, they're not going to be as geared towards first-party titles as they have been in the past. So I think Sony
only have like 5.
Yeah, well, you can't tell it's an Xbox player and they'll start shouting out games that you've never heard of in your life.
We are so bad. I'm so sorry.
I mean, you guys did just
I'm not sorry.
Make me want to start flexing on you with all my exclusives for Xbox. I was like, nope, No, it's okay. You'll have your time. You're coming up next.
But yeah, so there's been reports that Xbox is moving towards other not exclusive. So I think PS5 did the smart thing of like, okay, they're moving away from that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you all these games that are gonna only be on our console. Kind of like a throw in your face type thing.
I felt that.
I felt it too. And Dana, I know you're dying to have a bit of conversation. So please tell me, what are your thoughts on, in comparison, on how both the consoles were revealed, and what would they need to get you to purchase?
All right. So, first of all, Xbox boy for life over here.
Woohoo!
But no, so I think that from the PlayStation 3, the 4, and now into the 5, the two companies have always been competing, trying to get at each other or be better than each other. And for the longest time, it was that basic fact of the PlayStation has better specs, there's more exclusives, and it was just almost a no-brainer. I think this year, Microsoft really thought they had PlayStation with this new console. Now, this is a powerhouse coming, for consoles.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I don't think they were ready for PlayStation to have their own separate reveal.
Yeah.
I don't think they were anticipating it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if they were even in the slightest, they would have done the same thing themselves. I'm anxious to see if Xbox now is going to try to throw one together.
That's
you know what I mean? Because I feel like that might hurt more than it's going to help.
Well, so, okay, I disagree with you a little bit, and I'm going to make it quick because I know I'm cutting into your time. But the Xbox had to know that PlayStation had to have something, because we had to hear about the new console we're getting holiday 2020.
Absolutely, but I'm sure that they figured it would be at a E3 conference.
Yeah, but we also knew that PlayStation wasn't going to be at E3.
Oh, well, you're right, and that's my bad.
No.
But...
no offense against you. I just mean, like, they had to have known, but I think that they did have a little bit of hubris, like you said. Like, I do feel like they thought that this was going to be their thing, but continue.
Yeah. With that, I'd like to then bring up the idea that look at what PlayStation did last year, and maybe Microsoft or Xbox specifically didn't think that it would amount to much this year.
Mm-hmm.
Because it kind of didn't last year. But I think that they were gutted once again by PlayStation. I think PlayStation did a great job with this. I think if I do get a console, because I have now moved to PC gaming, that I'm going to almost feel like I have to get the Xbox as well as the PlayStation. The PlayStation,
okay. Double guy.
Because I would love to play a lot of the games that are coming out exclusively for it. I think that it is also a powerhouse in its own right. But Microsoft as a whole has been very good about having releases come out for Xbox as well as for Windows.
Windows, yeah.
So it would just make sense for me, since I'm already on the computer, that I would get an Xbox. So I can just move from my monitors over to my TV, just literally do a 180, flip to my television, and just continue everything with their Play Anywhere, and just pick it up and keep going. I think that it's actually very smart of them to do that, especially since they have the Game Pass that we talked about earlier, which they have specifically, they have Xbox Game Pass, and then they have the Windows Game Pass. But they also have Game Pass Ultimate, which is for both of them. So that is when something, and all the new Xbox titles are coming straight to Game Pass.
Yep.
They're releasing straight to it, 15 whatever a month, whatever. I pay the subscription already. I'm getting them as soon as they come out. I don't even have to worry about it.
As long as they have some.
Well, I mean, Gears of War, what was it, 5? 4?
And Halo Infinite.
The new Halo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited to see another game like Quantum Break to come out.
Oh, I forgot about that one.
See, that one was phenomenal. I would love another Halo Wars. I played Halo Wars 1 and 2. I would also love to see Sea of Thieves be brought to the Xbox, the new one, because I play way too much of Sea of Thieves.
I really enjoy Sea of Thieves and State of Decay. Oops, I do play a little bit of Xbox. Okay, I'm done.
I knew I didn't like you for a reason.
Oh my gosh!
Podcast
Dang.
canceled. There was something like that day.
Dang.
So, yeah, I'm excited to see what they can do and what they have offered for people who are already on the side of Xbox, people who are playing on Windows, and I want to know what they're going to try to do to bring PlayStation players over, because right now it's not looking like a whole lot.
Yeah, I completely agree. Before I give my mentions, I know that Brandon's about to run off to go stream in about 2 minutes, so I don't know if you wanted to say goodbye, Brandon, or if you're gonna stick
actually, I have a few minutes. I did a few preparations, so I have a few more minutes.
Oh, okay, great. I thought it was on leisure, and I'm not. Okay,
We're good. Go ahead.
For me, I think that I agree with a lot of what Brandon said about the Xbox Series X presentation. I thought it was badly timed, especially now, because we have, maybe we might get a console in, November if they follow the pattern. So we've got, how many months is that? 6 months, maybe?
Give or take.
We got about 6 months to hype ourselves up for what PlayStation is bringing, as opposed to, I don't even remember when the Game Awards was, but that shit was so long ago that the Xbox Series X doesn't even seem like a new console anymore to me. I know
That was also 6 months ago, so
Oh
it's
my
going to be
God.
almost a full year before it's actually out.
That is, I think they messed themselves up by giving us so much time. Unless they're going to, do another reveal of a digital only version or a more powerful one, or if they're actually doing the series thing in which they're releasing, this is the first part of the series, the next part is going to have more specs, whatever. We don't know, but I think they made a mistake revealing so early. I think Sony is on the right track, giving us about 6 months or so to just hype us more for what we're getting. It's in our minds. We're going to be talking about it, I think, for more than weeks to come. They did this very interesting thing where they were trickling out information, and that trickle of information got people talking about the PlayStation even while we already knew what the Xbox was. So what the Series X was. So even though it was very much okay, we have the Series X, where's PlayStation? We have the Series X, where's PlayStation? And that is a very smart marketing mechanic, because we're already pitting against each other two consoles, and we don't even know what the other one is yet. So that type of, conversation that got started about this console, the fact that, we get a random ass article in Wired.com about the specs for this thing that we don't know about, and then we get another little trickle. Here's the controller. Here's what it might have, and then 6 months later, 6 months before it's released, we finally get to see what it is. We finally get games, and I think that's where Xbox kind of messed up, because during the presentation, the Game Awards, I actually didn't know. I don't know if you guys knew, but I didn't know what was going on. Like, when they showed the commercial, I was like, I don't know what this is. Did you guys know what it was before they announced that it was the Xbox?
I don't think I did.
What?
I did. I think Brandon said that he doesn't think he did.
I had no idea what it was. Like, when I was first watching the Game Awards, I saw the I think it was the car in the background, and I saw the water, and I was like, I don't know, like, what exactly is this? And I don't know if I was alone in that, but that type of confusion that I had didn't really help for the reveal. And then when I saw the reveal, I was like, oh shit, they literally just showed us the new Xbox a year before we're getting it. And I think PlayStation has done a really good job, like, the marketing for this. I don't know, like I said, if it was on purpose, but starting that conversation, holding out, making us all talk about them holding out, and then finally doing this big reveal. This reveal was advertised everywhere. Like, if you're watching TV, you will see the commercial ad for this reveal. That's huge. Like, we didn't get that for the Xbox Series X. I still haven't seen a commercial for the Xbox Series X on like regular television. I don't know if you guys have, but I haven't even seen that. So Sony really went all out with creating this type of presentation, and I think it paid off a lot because they actually had stuff to show. I don't think Xbox had anything to show except for a console. And I do think that with this E3 coming up, I assume that, okay, they're going to show us another part of the console, they're going to show us another part of the series, but so far it has been silent aside from, hey, you can also play this game on our console after the PlayStation one. So that was, oof. I feel for Xbox because even though I'm a Sony fan, I'm very empathetic. I do love all consoles. And I think that Xbox has a really good setup. I think that they have something that PlayStation doesn't have, which is a lot of accessibility. I think they're very, very good at making things accessible for every type of player. I think they're better at PlayStation in that regard. You know, they have the special controller that works for almost anyone, no matter what type of player you are. They're very much the community gamer in that aspect. I also have to give them credit for Game Pass. I personally don't have Game Pass anymore, but I appreciate the ability to be able to buy a game on the Xbox One and then play it on the Series X. I also appreciate a monthly subscription fee in which I already know that I'm going to be able to download the game as soon as it comes out. I think they're doing a lot of things right, but I don't think they're selling many people on the Series X unless you're already a part of the Xbox ecosystem. Like, if you already play on Windows and it makes sense for you to grab a Series X, I don't see why anyone would go out to grab one, especially because you can play, Halo Infinite or the next Gears of War on your Windows PC anyway. So I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't know what they would have to do to make me buy one, but in comparison, everyone should take a note. This is how you hype people up for a console, and this is how you reveal it. And Sony blew it out of the park, and I can't wait to buy both. I'm probably gonna buy both. Just because I still do like the tower design, even though it's a rectangle, and I do kind of use my Xbox, even though it's only for like media consumption. I do appreciate being able to play games like Sea of Thieves and State of Decay and some of the smaller ones. If they ever come to PlayStation, I don't know why I would even need my Xbox anymore, honestly. But yeah, I think PlayStation has won another generation so far. I think even people who were not huge PlayStation fans have probably seen that commercial. They may have, logged in. And even if they haven't, memes are always a great selling point.
Yeah, they are.
Right now, my timeline is just flooded with memes of the PS5. And it's been really great for more press for PlayStation. The only time I've seen anybody talk about Xbox is in comparison to PlayStation. So, I mean, and now all the games, even though some of them are cross-play and coming to Xbox, Sony's done a really good job at making us think that they're all just coming to PlayStation, so you need one. Whereas even if they're not, you still might not need one, depending on the game, because you can maybe play them on your Series X. So, I mean, it all depends. Either way, good job, Sony. I'm super excited. I can't wait 6 months from now to grab a PS5. I think they've just done an amazing job. That was my little yay hurrah for Xbox. And last thing, do you guys have any closing comments before we shut down this podcast? Anybody want to add anything in the end?
I do. So, what was it? You mentioned something that got me thinking about a couple of different things. Oh, yes. Realizing what the reveal was at the Game Awards. So, I think that, and I kind of feel like the whole Xbox series is kind of just gearing itself towards people who are already Xbox fans. It doesn't feel like they're trying to reach out to new people, because with that reveal, I knew what it was because I know Forza, and Forza is known for their stunning graphics, their water effects, and their cars, as well as like the Halo games. So when I saw Master Chief running, I immediately clicked in. I already knew. And I feel like, again, like I said, that just kind of is focused and geared towards people who are already Xbox fans, people who are familiar with these things, people who are looking for how we're going to do these things again.
So what does that mean for Xbox? Like, how are they going to? What's the plan?
I don't know, because like I said, it feels like they're just looking to get the same people again, which is a little scary to think about.
Yeah.
But I think that with this PlayStation reveal, hopefully they'll understand that they are either going to lose people to PlayStation, because I'm right there. I'm walking the line.
I'll borrow your PS5 if you switch.
Wait, what did you say?
I said I'll buy him his PS5 if you switch.
Okay, well, what about me?
Right. Well,
I'll switch.
No, you're not here. You're not here. Anyways, I think that they're gonna have to wake up and realize that, like I said, they're gonna lose a lot of people to the PlayStation because of this reveal and everything that the PlayStation's going to be doing right, and that they can't just rely on the numbers that they had for the Xbox One or the Xbox One X, because that you want to show growth. You know what I mean?
And they haven't even been sharing those numbers, so we don't even actually know what's going on there.
It's probably because they aren't good. You know what I mean? Like, if they were proud of the numbers, they'd be throwing them on every billboard across the country.
Yeah, but see, I also don't think that is Xbox. That's the focus at Xbox. Like, I think they're more. I believe that what they're doing is they want you to be a part of their ecosystem, and they don't care how you play. They just want you to play. So if that is on the Series X, if that is continuing to be on the Xbox One, if that is on Microsoft Windows, as long as you're playing their games, I think they're happy. Whereas PlayStation is like, we have to beat the crazy numbers that we did with the PS4 at this point. If we're talking business, we've got a year over year to tackle. And the only way to do that is by giving the people what they want. So I think they're looking for two very different things. But I don't know why anyone would buy Xbox. I mean, I'm buying it because, we're doing game journalism here, and I love the aesthetic, even though it just looks like a box now thanks to the PlayStation. And you know what? I'm going to be honest, I don't even use my Xbox. I literally, if you ever see me on Xbox, it's because it says I'm watching TV. If it ever says I'm doing something else,
I know.
If it ever says I'm doing something else, it's not me. Someone has stolen my Xbox.
I first met you, and I got you on my Xbox friends. We've never played or been in a party chat, not even once. Not a single time. And I look and I'm like, oh, he's on. What's he doing?
Watching TV.
Watching TV.
I don't have Live anymore because I didn't play anything, so it was pointless. I had Game Pass for $1, and I played State of Decay 2, and then I was done. And I played a little bit of Sea of Thieves, but then I was like, I can just play this on PC.
Anyways, with the aesthetic of the Xbox Series X, I think that it is, again, super cool. And you were talking about how the PlayStation 5, everything matches and looks great, and it looks like super fancy, and that's the kind of thing that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the modest design because I kind of want to just hide it away sometimes. You know what I mean? I want it to just fit the entertainment system and do its job rather than standing out and pulling eyes away from anything.
Okay.
I don't think it needs to look great. I think it just needs to be able to do what it needs to do.
Fair. Did anyone have anything else they wanted to add before we close out?
Brandon, you got anything?
Nothing really for me. Just excited to see what else besides all this and this cool stuff from PS5. What else is in the future? It's funny. I just thought about this now. I own every single PlayStation console. I have 1 through 4. I even have the PSP and Vita as well. So I guess this is just another part of the collection. I'm just curious to see what they come out for in the future. It's exciting times.
Yep,
new console
definitely. Gabe, anything else?
I do. I'm very excited for the PS5. If you haven't been able to tell by now, but there's just a little something I kind of want to throw in there.
What's that?
That has to do with the presentation. I don't know if you guys remember. This is kind of looking forward a little bit, and kind of hoping for more amazing game reveals for this summer. I don't know if you guys remember when Horizon Zero Dawn was announced. That's the very same year that Nintendo decided to announce Breath of the Wild.
Yes.
So here's the hoping that they stick with the theme and that we get Breath of the Wild 2 this year.
We do
saw
know it's
it
on the
last
horizon.
year.
Yep.
Can Breath of the Wild 2 not fight Horizon Zero Dawn 2? Because that happened last time, and that's why I haven't played much Horizon Zero Dawn, because they came out right at the same time. I need them to breathe.
True. Yeah.
No, I need them to come out at the same time. But speaking of PS5, I'm just I think my first play. I went from the PS1 and we're at the PS4 now, and the PS5 is coming up, so I'm really excited for that. You'll never hear me say anything good about Xbox. So if you thought that all this Xbox hate was just for this podcast, you're sorely mistaken. The only thing that I think Xbox does better than PlayStation is give you the being able to play the older games. But at the same time, I'm sorry that I don't want to play older games with cylinder and triangle graphics.
Oh shit, he's going in, y'all.
Yeah, there's only a few old games I wish would make it to the older games, but and then again, it's all that matter. Even the very good games that you do want on your newer system end up being remastered. I lost my mind when Dark Souls was remastered, and yeah, that's another. I think that came out at $39.99. It was another $40 I had to pay, but you know what? If I'm paying for updated graphics, I don't really care. So again,
honestly,
the whole Game Pass thing, woo for Xbox, you guys are doing that. But Dana did also mention a really good point that Xbox seems to be catering more towards their fan base already instead of trying to grab new people. Which I think at this point, I feel like maybe PS5 is being the mean older brother and still trying to prove that they're better, and Xbox is just all right, we have our fan base. We have a very large fan base, and we're just going to stick with them because we know they're loyal. So, props to Xbox for that. Again, they still suck. So, yeah, let's see when the holiday... I'm sorry, Dana.
It's all right. I mean, I got to be here to, support Xbox, right? So, I mean, I came into a PlayStation reveal podcast knowing that this was going to happen, So, go off. You do you.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what both consoles bring later on in the year because they're both slated to come out holiday 2020. And thankfully, PS5 has already revealed their lineup, and I think a lot of the games that they mentioned yesterday that also said holiday 2020 are going to come out within a week or two of the PS5 itself. One thing that the PS4 kind of faltered with was bringing the new games over or bringing new games at the same time as the console. So I'm excited to see that.
I mean, what a way to end this podcast. It's my fault for asking, but we're going to go out by shitting on Xbox. It wasn't me. For any listeners, it was Gabe. Anyway, is that it? Anybody else want to add anything?
That's it for me.
Okay. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Thank you, Gabe and Dana, for joining us for your first official podcast presence. It was awesome talking to you guys. Thank you, Dana, for holding it in there for Xbox. And thank you, Gabe, for being very passionate about PlayStation. And, Brandon, thank you for being here with me as always. If you guys want to hear more of us, make sure that you subscribe. We're on a bunch of different platforms, which will be in the description on this podcast episode. You can also subscribe to our Patreon, which is live now at patreon.com/HPCritical. And you can follow us on all our social medias on Facebook, Twitter, we're at @critical_HP. And if you want to talk to any of us, and Instagram is HPCritical Gaming. If you want to talk to any of us, you'll also see all of our tags on Twitter in this episode as well. And don't forget, we have 2 tournaments coming up for the end of this month. Pokemon and Smash, we will all be competing in them. I will be beating everyone in Pokemon. I'll probably lose at Smash. So there is a $60 cash prize for every win that you make in each game, or not every win, so excuse me, let me fix that. There's a $60 cash prize for the winners, so definitely come sign up. We also have our Pride Parade going on in Animal Crossing on the 29th of this month, or 28th, excuse me, it's on the 28th of this month. And sign up for our newsletter at hpcritical.com, and you can find out more information on all of those. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for talking to me, and I will see everyone later. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.